Okay, so creativity and sleep. There's one hack we're going to take a look at today, which will boost your creativity, and you can start it straight away. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have here science.org, and there is some new research here. Sleep onset is a creative sweet spot. So the basic essence of this hack is using the hypnagogic stage. What is the hypnagogic stage? The hypnagogic stage is just as you drift off between waking and sleeping, and usually there's a lot of visual stimuli around that time, okay? Now, many people have used this in the past. For example, the most prominent example would be Edison, who used to sleep with, falling asleep, he'd have two steel balls, and just as he slept, he would drop a ball, and then he might suddenly have an inspiration, he'd write it down in his journal, okay? So it's using that stage between waking and sleeping for creativity. So I think a lot of people would anecdotally notice that, but now you've got scientific research to back it up. As to how you can do it, very simple, before you go to sleep, or just think about some problem that you're trying to solve, maybe have an afternoon nap, for example, and just as you're drifting off, if you can wake yourself up, disturb it, you could set an alarm, for example, or very easy thing is this ball thing. You put something in your hand, and as you drift off, you'll drop it and it'll make a sound, of course. So what exactly does the research show? Let's take a look. Okay, so we have here participants were exposed to mathematical problems without knowing that a hidden rule allowed solving them almost instantly. We found that spending at least 15 seconds in M1 during a resting period. So how long is it going to take you there? Get there, maybe take you 5 minutes, maybe take you half an hour. You drift when you drift. And if you have something like a ball in your hand and you're sitting up, as soon as you drift, you're going to drop the ball and it'll wake up. That's the idea, within those few seconds of drifting into this hypnagogic stage. They said here that we found that spending at least 15 seconds in N1 in the hypnagogic sleep, okay, this is where you just kind of drift off and start having crazy dreams for a bit, during a resting period, tripled the chance to discover the hidden rule, 83% versus 30%. So there's a hidden rule in this maths problem. If people didn't do the hypnagogic, 30% chance they got it. If they went into this hypnagogic state for a minute of 15 seconds, 83% chance that they got it. And thus the effect vanishes subject to reach deeper sleep. So if you go into deep sleep, it doesn't get it. If you don't go to sleep, it doesn't get it. But if you just drift for a few seconds, you get it. Our findings suggest there's a creative spot within the sleep onset period, and hitting it requires individuals balancing falling asleep easily and falling asleep too deeply. So this is probably something that would be best not to do at nighttime, go to sleep, because usually if you start off like this, you'll end up breaking your sleep cycle and you won't be able to get back to sleep. But like an afternoon nap or early evening nap, you could do it, okay? So the article here is in science.org, DOI 10-1126 SCIDAV.ABJ5866, okay? I'll put the link down below anyway. All right, so we believe the M1 represents the ideal cocktail for creativity, and it has a lot of details about it, okay? And you have here the people into the sleep stage, all right? Results we have here. So here we go. A single minute of M1 inspires insight. We found a significant effect of the group, wake versus M1 versus M2. So this is people who are just drifting for a few seconds versus people drifting for 5 minutes. On the percentage of participants who found the hidden rule after the break. This effect was driven by the percentage of insights in the M1 group, which was 2.7 times higher than the wake group. Compared M1 versus wake, okay, yeah, and 5.8 times higher than the N2. So the people who are sleeping definitely didn't get it. The people who are awake got it to some degree, but then you had the people who are N1 got a lot more, okay? So the basic thing here is that if you go into deep sleep, you're just going to reduce your cognitive ability upon waking. I think that's pretty obvious, going to be groggy. If you stay awake, you don't have what you have, but if you have that just a few seconds of drifting off, and I think a lot of people have this thing of the having a quick little power nap, they find it very powerful, okay? All right, nice little picture here. This is Salvador Dali, a guy who's famous for creativity, and this is a picture all about time. It's called The Persistence of Memory, a 1931 painting by artist Salvador Dali, and one of his most recognized pictures, The Persistence of Memory. It says here, it represents the omnipresence of time and identifies its mastery over human beings. So that's an interesting picture to put on here. Let's take a look. What they say here, so they go into some more detail, all right? Here we are. This is the Institute, Paris Brain Institute. That's nice. Institut du Cerveau, ICM.org. And they just have another couple of quotations here, which are handy to look at. Okay, so spending at least 15 seconds in this very first phase of sleep after falling asleep triple the chances of finding the hidden rule. Through the famous Eureka, the effect disappeared if the subjects went deeper into sleep, explains Celia Lacaux, the study's first author. At the same time, the researchers highlighted several key neurophysiological markers of this creativity generating phase. The sleep phase has been relatively neglected by cognitive neuroscience till now. Discovery opens up an extraordinary new field for future studies, especially of the brain mechanism of creativity. Sleep is also often seen as a waste of time and productivity. By showing that it is in fact essential to our creative performance, we hope to reiterate its importance to the public, concludes Delphine Quedet, interim researcher and final author of the study. So there's the sources: sleep, onset, creativity, sweet spot. So these people are on the Sorbonne, which is the top institute in Paris. So there's a very simple hack you can try, which is don't do it when you're going to sleep at night. You mightn't be sleeping at all the whole night, but like maybe after a heavy meal, sitting in a chair, have something in your hand. You don't mind if it falls or it breaks. The great thing about this, and there's other techniques you can use, things like having a diary beside your bed. If you wake up with a great idea, even in the middle of sleep, but you're less likely to have a great idea in the middle of sleep. This is scientifically proved. Dreams, whatever. The idea is to find different ways of hacking creativity. I like that picture with Salvador Dali, the persistence of time. We're living in a linear world, a rational world. Jacques Lacan, the famous wellness, what he would suggest is that we're metonomical in our living, and we need to be metaphorical. So metonomical is everything just organized, getting on, efficiency. And we need that for productivity. But there's another stage of life, which is productivity is one thing, but you also need creativity as well. And creativity is the well, as it were, that we can get our substance from. And so how do we do that? So we're so much busy in this practical world. We need the inspirational world. Of course, we need the two of them. And so how can we hack into that creativity? And when you look at that picture, the persistence of memory, it just opens up different ways of thinking. And one of my favorite quotes from Einstein is, we cannot solve any problem in the same state of mind which created. The reason we couldn't solve it was our state of mind was not capable of overcoming that challenge or solving that problem. So to do it, we have to raise our bar. So creativity isn't just about art. Creativity is about creative ways of being a business person, a student, an academic, a human being living in their life with relationships and so on. We can all do a creativity. There's one little hack that you can try. And yeah, it's just tapping into that something bigger and better. And that's one little way. And I think partly why it works is that momentarily your mind is out of the normal track. If you go too deeply out of the track, of course, you lose it completely. But just momentarily going out and coming back, and like a lot of people, Winston Churchill used to live as well, is power naps. Nothing like a bit of a power nap to just boom. And that's another interpretation I would add. This is anecdotal, of course, rather than scientific, is just having this 15, 20-minute naps as well. I personally think they're very useful for creativity. Certainly they rejuvenate. So whatever works for you, but that's one hack you can try today. Just nip off into the hypnagogic stage, but have some way of, as soon as you do so, you will be woken up, or you'll drop that thing or whatever it is, and just wake up. It's something you can experiment and try in order to boost your creativity. Hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe if you do, and I'll talk to you next time.